Hi beautiful friends, welcome to today's episode of Mother Knits. Today I'm going to be taking you through the journey of a sweater that has been in the works for a year. It's finally complete. I'm finally ready to show it off, as well as some other just really darling projects that I have going on. Let's go ahead and get into today's episode. Hello and welcome to Mother Knits. My name is Catherine. I am a full-time homeschooling mama and maker. I love knitting, which I share quite a lot about here on this channel, but I'm also a ceramicist and an artist of many mediums. I just love to dabble in all sorts of crafts. So you might see some of those make an appearance here on this channel as well. Today, though, is a very exciting episode for me to share with you because I have finished this pink cardigan that I'm wearing, and this was, for me, quite a big undertaking. I started knitting a year ago, and I think it was last March, so I think I'm coming up on just about a year of being a knitter, and before that, I was a crocheter. And with crochet, I was really craving the garments that you could make with knitting that are just not at all possible with crochet, and using just those fine yarns and getting this drape that only knitwear can really accomplish. So I was already working with yarn quite a lot and feeling really confident as a crocheter, and I was ready to jump into knitting. And I walked into my local yarn shop and I see my friend Linda at Knitwits in Sedona, Arizona, working on this sweater. And I just thought it was so gorgeous. And coming from crochet, crocheters don't work with mohair. We don't work with these beautiful, fine fingering weight yarns all that often. Usually it's like an Aran weight cardigan or toys or a big, beautiful blanket, which actually took up quite a bit of my time this past year. I was making a wedding Celtic crochet blanket for my brother. So I walk into the yarn shop, I see Linda working on this piece, and she was using these beautiful kind of taupes and browns on this pattern, on this sweater, the Rowan cardigan. And I was so captivated, especially by the striping of this sheer mohair. And it was starting to become spring, and I was craving color, and I was craving a challenge, and I was craving knitting. And so I was like, you know what, why not? I'm just gonna do it. I'm gonna jump in. And this was my very first knitted piece. I had knitted swatches with different size needles, different yarns that I already had from crocheting, and I would just knit little squares essentially just to kind of work on my tension. And I'd watched tutorials, but I hadn't actually made anything from start to finish yet. And I guess I was just feeling very adventurous. This was before I was pregnant, and cast on this pink sweater, and it just made me so happy. The yarn is absolutely gorgeous. And it's a local, well, the solid here, this solid pink that you see. Why don't I'm going to show it to you guys. This is a local, at least locally dyed yarn. The kind of solid color here, and then the mohair is from Malabrigio. It's in the color English Rose, and it's all done. I finished it, and I actually made my deadline of finishing it by Valentine's Day. I was very happy that it did stretch out quite a bit with blocking. So I will stand up and show this to you guys. You have to understand though, if you want to use your imagination, before becoming pregnant, I've put on a lot of weight. Obviously, it's very natural and that happens. But I'm typically a pretty, slender, slim, small, busted woman. And so I made, I think, the size small. And I decided, I went back and forth on if I wanted to even put buttons on this thing, and decided, within the last week, that I was just like, what, I don't even want buttons. I just want this to be something that I wear as an open cardigan over dresses and over, probably like a nursing tank top throughout the spring, once baby's here. So let me stand up and show it to you. You get to see my big pregnant belly. Now the back is a bit shorter than I wanted it to, even though there are short rows in here. That's really the only thing with the fit that I'm not super happy about. For some reason, the back is quite a bit shorter than the front of my cardigan. So I don't know if I did something wrong in the pattern or what happened, but there is quite an angle to where this is feeling quite a bit longer in the front than in the back, but it doesn't bother me too much. My original styling idea for this sweater was to put the buttons on, and you can kind of see in the pattern photo that it's supposed to button here, right? And then you have like a crew neck, and then it buttons all the way down. Well, with the way that my body changed, I changed my idea about how I was going to be styling this, and I thought I would wear it buttoned, tucked into some high-waisted, really whitewashed denim jeans, like some vintage sort of like really, really pale blue jeans with this pink. I thought that would be just a really cute, fun spring summery look. And but yeah, my vision of how I would wear this has changed a bit, and I think it's just really sweet pop of color to put on over just the basic dresses that I have in really neutral colors. And it's very soft. This is not itching me at all. I know that I must not have too much of a sensitivity to mohair, because I hear about that all the time. But this is so beautiful and really so snuggly and cozy. And I mean, it's just a fuzzy dream. So there was a lot of mistakes that I made with this sweater. Part of the reason it took a year, well, a huge reason it took a year to make this, was because I redid the sleeve. I ripped it all out, redid it, and I also had to redo the bottom hem. It was the first time I'd ever done 1x1 ribbing in knitwear, and it just looked terrible. I could not find my knits and my purls with this tiny yarn, and I just was having such a hard time. And the first time I do the hem, I was like, oh, that doesn't look very good, but I guess I'll just leave it. And I put the tubular cast off on the bottom. And the more that this sat around my house and stared at me, the more I just knew that hem just wasn't going to cut it. And so I had to take out the tubular cast off, which was such a chore. That was like an entire evening or two that I spent picking that out. And then that yarn, which there wasn't a ton of it, but that was just like trashed after I finally got it all picked out. And then I redid the hem, and I'm really happy that I did it. It looks so much better and really neat and really nice. I don't know what's going on here. I followed the pattern direction for the button band for this hem here. I cannot imagine actually putting a button on how small of a little bit of ribbing that this is here, but I followed, the amount of stitches and everything, and I was always very close to hitting gauge with this, and my gauge wasn't that far off. So that seemed odd to me, and if I were to remake this pattern in another bright yellow or like a beautiful navy or something like that, I would definitely take, things into my own hands as far as the button band goes. But it's complete, and I love the sleeve length that I went with. I'm actually really, really happy with it. For a while, towards the end of working on this, I really hated it. I really was like, I don't like this. I'm going to gift this. I'm just going to give it to my daughter. Like, I don't like it. And I'm working on it and hating it. And just wanting it to be done. And, but you know what? I actually am just super happy with how it turned out. And, I just think it's so cute now that it's all completed and I put it on with a dress. I'm like, oh, okay. I think I'll keep you. And I think that this will be my annual Valentine's Day sweater. I've been thinking about, as a mother and especially as a homeschooling family, it's so part of my responsibility to create those special seasonal moments that children typically get at school, like the big Valentine's Day party and all of that. And I love just really taking a moment to celebrate those days, right? And I think having a holiday sweater, even for Valentine's Day and Halloween, some more festive sweaters that aren't just your traditional Christmas, sweaters, is a really fun kind of idea for me. So I feel inspired to maybe create like a first day of spring sweater, just different sweaters and outfits that I save to wear on those days, because this will last a really long time. Not that I will only exclusively wear it on that day, but this does feel like such a feminine Valentine's Day sweater. And so I think that that's what it will be named, and it was very appropriate that it was totally completed on Valentine's Day this year, which was really my goal and just so sweet. So that is the finished object that I have to show you guys this week. Let's move on to the things that are on my needles and a work in progress. I'm so excited to show these to you. I think I want to start with the doll that I've been working on. So baby is due to arrive in just over a month. I don't know if we're having a boy or a girl. I already have a little girl. She's going to be 9 soon, which is starting to get a little bit old for dolls, but also kind of not, because it's a knitted doll and she's really excited about seeing the process of this doll coming to life and then picking out outfits. It's a wonderful way to learn knitting as well. So because I'm knitting sweaters and, well, not yet, but I have it in my queue to knit some little outfits and little accessories for this doll. Those are such beautiful teaching moments for my daughter as well, because those projects start and finish pretty quickly. So the instant gratification can be sort of woven in, right? So here is, and now she's not complete. Okay, so she's in progress. But this is our little friend so far. This is from a designer that I mentioned in my pattern roundup of children's and kids and baby patterns that I just thought were so impressive. And this designer is, I want to say, Maria Emervola, but I'll put her name in the description along with this pattern. Now, I'm using, oh, she's so cute. She's so cute. I can see where it's going, and I'm very excited. So far, what we have are the head, obviously, and the body with her little bloomers on. Now, these are supposed to be marking, can you guys see these little markers? They're supposed to be marking where her eyes go, but since I used a yarn that is not a recommended yarn in the pattern, I think my gauge is just a little bit bigger. So I think that my stitches are just a bit longer. And so you can sort of see, can you see where these stitch markers are? Like right here. I think her eyes need to be moved up to about boop there. So I'm gonna play with some placement of her eyes and her ears and her little smile. But I'm waiting to do that until I attach her hair, which isn't done yet. But I do have little arms in the works. And this one is done. We have a completed arm right here. And so, and this one is not stuffed yet, so it's looking a little floppy and sad. But we've got some arms. And then I just need to knit up the legs, get those stuffed and attached. And then once the arms and the legs are attached, I feel like that's when the real fun with this project gets to begin, and we get to add the long hair and put it into braids and do the embroidery for her face. So I'm really excited about it. Toy knitting has been really rough on my hands. I did go up, I think the pattern calls for a 3mm needle with worsted weight yarn, and I moved up to a 3.5mm needle, which was, I don't even know if I could have done this with a 3. I think I showed you guys like 2 episodes ago that I started with what she was recommending, and it was crazy, so not enjoyable that just decided to go up a needle size. So that's also why my gauge is a little bit off, but it's a tight fabric. I'm happy with it because it's very durable. And that white yarn I'm using is Lion Brand Touch of Alpaca. So it's acrylic, it's gonna hold up really well. Now, the only thing with this project is that I don't have enough hair yarn. So I'm either gonna have to go buy some, or I'm gonna have to turn her hair red, because I do have this really sweet little cotton red yarn that could work, but I just don't know if that's gonna look silly. Oops. Yeah, so all I have left, I just have this much left for all of her hair. And I just don't think that's gonna be enough. I mean, I can start playing with it, but it's like maybe 10 grams. So I'm not sure if that's gonna be enough. And I don't want it to look like she has like thin, stringy hair. I want there to be big, thick braids that she has. So that would match perfectly, of course. But I also could sew on a layer of red hair on top of this, and then try my best to kind of cover all of this. I'm not sure yet. I don't know. I should probably just go buy more yarn, but for whatever reason I don't want to. I just want to use what I have, and it's funny, it's just like I don't really want a whole skein or something of brown worsted weight. I don't know, I don't want to do that. So I might get creative. I might just decide to go to the yarn shop and pick up something that is close. You guys let me know in the comments what you typically do in situations like this, because I could just maybe even mix this in with the red. So there's like brown strands and red strands. I don't know if that would look messy or weird, or I'm not sure. I might just try a few things, and I can always take it out too. So that's, I'll probably try the red, because then it's a more traditional kind of Raggedy Ann looking doll, which is kind of fun too. So we'll see. This is potentially going to baby, if baby is a girl. My daughter's totally fine with that, and if not, she's happy to have a little doll and help make little knitted accessories for this little one. She doesn't have a name yet, but she also doesn't have a face or a personality yet. So we gotta kind of put her together and see who she's going to end up being. And I've decided to go with using black yarn for her eyes. I'm not going to get the, what are they? They're called like safety eyes or something like that. I decided not to go with those, because even though they do say that they're safety and they're like, I don't think that they would come out because I have a little one on the way. I just think it would be safer just to have embroidered eyes and not mess with the little plastic pieces. So that will be a new adventure for me. I think it's going to be really fun and really creative, and I just keep reminding myself if I need to take things out, I can, but and like redo them, because I think the face is going to be so important to get that right. So so that's underway. And in that same vein, I'm also working on a little outfit for baby. So I'm using this yarn, this alpaca yarn, and I'm making, I think it's like the coming home set or something like that, or the newborn set. It's from PetiteKnit. It's a really darling little pattern, totally gender neutral. This is our third child, and I have sort of learned that baby clothes can get really overwhelming. So this time around, we don't have any of the clothes for my 6 and 9-year-old. We don't have any of their baby clothes any longer. And this time we decided just to order plain old white onesies. And that is going to be 95% of this child's wardrobe, along with like cute reusable diaper covers. That's about it. Because I just remember feeling so overwhelmed by like all of the baby clothes, and then growing out of them so quickly, and then trying to find the matching colors and all the things. It just was like really, really overwhelming for my first two. So for this third baby, we've decided to really just stick with like very earthy tones for clothes, and have maybe a few accessories that sort of show that it's a boy or a girl, like maybe a little headband or a little ball cap or something like that. But for the most part, we're keeping it pretty simple when it comes to baby's wardrobe, just to make our lives simpler. However, I do think it would be really special on top of those very basic onesies to have some of these sets and pieces, and actually a lot. I think I went through a few of these in the children's pattern roundup that I was really excited about, that we just have like little vests, little knitted vests, or a little knitted accessory, and those things can give some personality to a little outfit. But anyway, I decided to cast this on. I did want, something to put baby in that was handmade and had some personality in it. So I cast this on the other night, and it's a very basic little raglan and crease sweater. Not exactly it's like a cardigan, except the buttons are over to one side. So your center seam is kind of just like moved over a bit. And I don't know what was going on. I just was having one of those days where things weren't like clicking, or just, I don't know, like the ribbing is fine, but there's a few spots that I kind of messed up. And then like the increases, again, it was like, oh, those were a little sloppy, and I just kept going anyway. And I can't decide if I want to just start this over, because I'm not that far. And there's some little pieces that I can see, but no one else is going to notice. So I'm not quite sure what to do yet. If I just keep going and just get this finished, because there are 3 little pieces. It's like, I don't know. I just haven't decided yet if I want to actually keep knitting on what I've done, or just snip this yarn, start over, and learn from the things that I wasn't paying attention to the first time through. I'm kind of torn. I'm not really sure. I think I'm probably going to just start it over, because this didn't take a ton of time to create. And I do think it might feel better for baby's first little outfit for me to feel really good about it. And not feel like I kind of threw it together and just, I don't know. So, but this would be the little collar to the jacket. I started with the jacket because I think that'll be the most time consuming. But there's the little collar. And then I've got to show you guys, I have some handmade buttons that I'm going to attach, because this does call for 6 buttons. I'm doing the 1 to 3 month size. Because even as a newborn, I think we can just roll up the sleeves and roll up the pant legs and make that work, and let that, you know, get a few miles out of that. But I have these sweet little porcelain hearts that are kind of this purpley, is this celadon? Is that kind of like, or no, it's sort of like, well, it's just blue. It's like a dark blue, purpley blue. Little heart buttons, and I figured, boy or girl, that's going to be really cute, and I made them, so that makes it even sweeter. And so those will go down the side, and then I think I'll just add 1 heart on the pants, and that's all that I have. I think I only made 7 of those little heart buttons, so in kind of my test rounds of things. And so that's exciting that I'll be able to use those, and I think it'll just add such a sweet little element to baby's first like real handmade outfit. I think that's going to be really fun, and I'm feeling very nostalgic about this project. Now, another sweater, actually, I think I cast this on as soon as I cast this off. It wasn't completed, it wasn't blocked. I needed to weave in ends. I needed to fix a lot of the holes and the drop stitches that happened on this one, since it was the first thing I'd ever worked on. There were quite a few drop stitches on the front panels, but those all got fixed up. Thank goodness for YouTube. And I immediately cast on this. I think I showed you guys this yarn a few episodes back, and I'm finally getting to use it. Now, this is typically more my shade of color. I usually go for more like oranges and like more like sunset, like very warm tones. And so I am really loving this color. It is really bright and really cheerful. It's very different from this cool like watermelon pink in this sweater, which I one garment in this color will be plenty for, I don't need any more, because this is a little too much of a cool tone pink, a little too much, yeah, too cool tone. This is gorgeous. This I'm so excited about. This is Desert Breeze yarn. I got it in Tempe, Arizona on our way to Mexico, and it is really pretty. It has, I don't know if it's gonna, well, you guys might be able to tell a bit. All right, let me take my needle out of here. This is the back panel. I'm ready to start the left shoulder on this piece, but I cast this on right after this was completed, and I was just so excited. Now, if you guys just saw the last episode with that jacket, my winter jacket that I've made, same designer, Caidree, I think, is, yeah, Caidree. And this is the Home V sweater. So there's this really great V. It's just this oversized, super comfy. This is something I plan on wearing just like around the house a lot, or if I just want to go out like on a walk. Like, it's just going to be, I hope, that really comfortable, throw it on, loose, oversized sweater. I'm really, really excited about it. Now, the color of the yarn is sort of like this it's not, is speckled the right word, you guys? It's like a little bit yellowy, a little bit tangerine, a little bit very, very pale orange. There's a lot of subtle color shifts happening here, which I'm really excited about. Now, the texture of the yarn, I'm not as excited about. This is a superwash yarn, superwash merino wool. So there's going to be some new elements here and some learning. And if you guys want to share your thoughts in the comments, I would so appreciate it. I did decide to knit the smallest size because there is an enormous amount of positive ease, and I didn't want this to be huge. I just wanted it to be appropriately, like, what does that even mean? Appropriately oversized. But like, I wanted this to be comfy, cozy, maybe a little bit long, but since it's superwash, I know it's gonna stretch, but I don't know how much. And so I decided to go with the smallest size, and it's a lot of sweater, so I think it's gonna be kind of heavy. Maybe I'll regret that and wish that I would have knit the size small. But looking at the measurements she gave in the pattern, I was like, I don't know, I think the extra small plus my gauge is just the tiniest bit bigger than the swatch that she calls for. Not much, but just like half a centimeter. Like, but that adds up, right? When you've got a whole sweater in it. So, but it is like less than a half a centimeter bigger. So with those factors in mind, and I think, I'm hoping that this kind of like, what do you call it? It's like that squeaky yarn. I've heard that phrase before, and I didn't get it until I started working with this yarn. Now, it could be that I've just spent a ton of time working like with this fuzziness, with my winter jacket, and those were all very, very different textures. I don't know, it does feel like a little squeaky to me, and it's not like super soft and like squishy. And I'm wondering if you guys think that's going to change when I soak it in water. And I guess that I could just like knit up a little swatch and block it. That would be really smart. But I just don't always feel like you get the most accurate information there, because when you have a whole sweater, that's obviously just going to block and stretch and be a little different. But I'm just wondering if it's going to feel softer, and if that squeakiness kind of might fade a little bit with like a good soak and plenty of like wool wash stuff added in. I don't know, you guys will have to let me know your thoughts on that. But I'm actually gonna add on the left panel or the left shoulder. This is the back panel, so this will go right back here like that, right there, and then we'll get the panel started. And it should be a very mindless knit, which I'm excited about. Just a lot of eventually it'll join in the round, but it's just been a very nice mindless project to have on my needles. And I've got a few other ideas and things that I'm dreaming about for spring and summer. I think this will be sort of my last warmer weather garment, but I'm hoping to really spend a lot of time on this. And is this DK? Yeah, it's a DK yarn. So I think this sweater is going to come together pretty quickly. I'm really motivated to have it done before baby's born in like 5 weeks. It's kind of an aggressive timeline, but kind of not. I mean, I have plenty of time. I'm resting a lot and taking good care of myself. So I have been knitting a lot. But having these 3 projects that I just showed you done before baby is here is a goal. I think I can do it. I think I can. And then there's other things that I would like to cast on and just have ready to go while I'm in bed with baby and just kind of resting and recovering. And we'll have to sort of see what filming feels like at that time. It has felt nice to be back in the nursery and filming in here for you guys. It's just such a bright, cheerful space, and the crib is right next to me. So it could actually be in a really beautiful flow just to have itty bitty baby here while we sit and chat about knitting, but we'll just see how that flows. And these are some of the things I'm working on. I actually do have some exciting things to share with you next week, and I'm still working on the button video and how I've made my own buttons. So there's still lots of videos coming, so make sure you're subscribed because I do have a lot to update you all on, but I think I'll keep it there for today's episode and sit down and chat with you guys next week. So thank you so much for being here. Make sure that you are subscribed so you don't miss any videos. I don't currently have like a regular posting schedule, but I am posting, I'm aiming for about once a week, or certainly once every 2 weeks, sitting down and chatting with you guys and chatting about what we're making. And I love hearing from you in the comments, and thank you so much for being here. So until next time, happy making and happy knitting.